Hey everybody, welcome to Campus to Contracts. I'm your host, Brendan, and with me as always is Mason, and today we're going to get right into unlocking the potential. Not the potential of your mind, not the potential of your athletic ability. No, we're going to unlock the potential of the money to fund your great university endeavors. Going to you, Mason, what are your thoughts on unlocking the potential of scholarship funds?
I think that everyone thinks it's either full scholarship or bust, but that's not it. That's not all that there is to it. There's partial scholarships, there's financial aid, there's different routes to get those scholarships by going to JUCO first and paying a very small sum, maybe sometimes even getting a scholarship from that junior college, and then working your way back up to a full scholarship university. So definitely a variety of ways. Definitely multiple routes, definitely multiple ways to solve that math problem.
And a full ride scholarship, for those that don't know, does it just include room and board and the classes, or is there more involved in a full ride? How big of a deal is a full ride?
Full ride, think of it like anything you could possibly pay for that is a necessity while you attend that university. So we're talking food, we're talking housing, books, tuition, room, board, everything. Obviously, if you're on a sports team, regardless if you're on scholarship or a walk-on player or partial scholarship player, you're not paying for anything on that team. The team is going to have to take care of you when it comes to any team meals or any equipment that you need in order to play.
So that's like the golden ticket to the university when you get a full ride. Those kids are elite. They did it well, they did it often, and they were able to get the full ride. Now, if you're talking about a partial scholarship, obviously this is a variety of items that a kid can get going to the university. What's the most common about a partial scholarship that the kids are most used to?
So when you look at the different levels of college sports, if we're just going to talk about college football here, you are very accustomed to your big name universities that are known for having scholarship players and walk-on players. When you get to the smaller universities, the FCS level, the Division II level, the Division III level, the NAIA level, those type of universities don't always have the scholarship capacity that the bigger schools have, yet they have the same amount of players on the team. So in this case, those schools will sometimes cut down their scholarships in half that they have available for the whole team to use so that they can get more players on some sort of aid, or they simply just will give only partial scholarships, and those players that are on partial scholarships will be responsible for the other half of whether it be tuition, room and board, or whatever situation that those universities make the deal with that specific player. So oftentimes you'll see partial scholarships at smaller schools or Division II or Division III universities, and those players will get maybe 50% off on their tuition or total fee on going to the university. Again, regardless of you being on partial, full, or no scholarship at all, your equipment on that team, your participation, your uniform, you're not paying for any of that. We're just strictly talking about the university, academics, living, and food.
And the other thing about the partial scholarships that's really, really cool, a lot of these universities do a really good job of advertising the grant program that they have available. So you may get a partial scholarship with a grant that may fund another portion. Let's say you have a 50% scholarship, you get 25% of that carried in grants. So you're really only funding 25% of the university total cost to play that sport in a lower division. And again, it's all about the communication with the university, with the folks that are helping you with this. So there's lots of different ways to get fully funded, even at a partial scholarship.
Yeah, of course. And also, don't forget there's academic scholarships. Like, schools still have academic scholarships for the regular students. And hey, if you're one of those lucky players that also, did the work in the classroom and you get an academic scholarship, sometimes football teams, will not give you any scholarship money, will let you just take the full academic scholarship that you receive from the university so that they could give that money to another player so that they could essentially get two players for the price of one.
Now, if you have a kid who's running around the neighborhood saying how they got some NIL money, is that the same as a scholarship, or is that something that's completely separate and covered in another episode by us? But is that something that's not even considered by the school?
Technically, it's not a scholarship. Technically, it is a completely separate thing. However, the money amount that they're receiving in that NIL deal could be enough to pay for school, could be enough for the player to come out of pocket due to their NIL money and pay their full tuition, pay their room, pay their board, pay for their food, and all the things that a non-scholarship player, a walk-on player, would have to pay for.
When you're looking at the entire brochure of college and what you're able to get, whether it's the scholarship, full ride, partial, grants, athletic scholarships, other scholarships that may be available, as well as NIL deals, when you're sitting there looking at this variety of dollars that are maybe coming in, take a seat and really review it, because the combination of a lot of these features could really propel you into a wonderful situation for your university career.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, let's say you get NIL money and you wanted to go to a bigger school that may not have offered you a scholarship to get on that team, but they offered you a preferred walk-on situation or even just a regular walk-on situation at that university. You can now go. You'll have the money to fund yourself. Now, in my opinion as an agent, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that route, simply because the team may not have saw your value as when it came to your talent for being on that team. But as you know, there are young kids nowadays who are famous on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, to where they can garner their own marketing money on their own completely without the university's collective or any assistance from the university, and pay for their schooling. And now that they allow NIL, they also allow regular private funding from outside sources to these students. So there is still an aspect where you want to go to the school that wants you. And if they can't pay for it, that's a different story. But if they're choosing not to, then I still recommend you going to a university that wants you because of your talent, and then maybe you fit their scheme. And we've talked about this in other episodes on choosing a university according to your talent and plans and making it to the contract that we're all here to get to. So again, many avenues and ways to pay for universities now. Just make sure that, especially you athletes, you choose the university that is going to want to play you, that you're going to be able to flourish at. Don't just go just because now you have NIL money or you have the ability to garner your own wages.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, when I look at this from their perspective, having someone like yourself in their corner, to be able to assess this, to be able to look at it from that outside perspective. There's a lot of emotions when you're a parent of this, of your kid who's receiving these opportunities. You can both feel rejected and you can feel pumped up. You can feel excited. There's a lot of emotions that can range for you as a parent. Now, as the kid, there's a whole bunch more. Having someone like yourself in your corner to be able to kind of navigate that, to really step back, look at it from a perspective that doesn't include all of that emotion, because a lot of times that emotion really defeats you in these big conversations or these big decisions. It doesn't really help you. So it's really good to slow things down, mellow things off, and listen to an outside perspective of the future and what that next 2, 3, 4 years may look for you. Because a lot of times it's really hard to see that when you're looking at 4 or 5 universities, possibility of maybe, should I go to JUCO for a year? Going to a lower division just to get some more playing time. There's a lot of really critical decisions for you in your future, and the last thing you need to do is make a poor one on emotion.
Absolutely. There's so many different decisions to make, and hopefully you can take a step back and get away from that money that you could possibly be earning depending on the university you go to, and just understand that you should focus still on your playing career and trying to elevate in that way. Because eventually the money will come.
I think the one thing we forgot to say above all else on this episode of scholarships and finding someone else to pay your way is congratulations. If you're looking at scholarships, congratulations. Doesn't matter. Full ride, partial scholarship, academic scholarship, however you want to look at it. If you get that piece of paper where a university is offering you money to go to that program, to either play or even to go at all, hats off. That's a big deal. And a lot of times we don't take chances. I should say, A lot of times we don't take that opportunity to sit back and admire our progress. And getting to this point, again, that's a lot of progress. And that is not easy. And not a lot of kids do it.
Yeah. And congrats to all those kids who are up next. Speak it into existence.
The treadmill's always moving. More and more talent keeps rising to the top. As they always say in hockey, the cream rises to the top, which is the most exciting part about all of these sports, is we, the viewer, get to watch these young athletes perform at an elite level. I am your host, Brendan, and that is Mason, and that is your Scholarship Insider.